So here we go, guys. Again, my shitty remedial chess skills being exercised here. So I played e4. They went into kind of a Sicilian, and instead of even participating, I just decided to bring this knight out, defend the pawn.
No,
Then,
no, he just said that picture just looks like you.
oh no, I sent it to him because of the resemblance. You see, I sent it to because of the resemblance, because that's a picture of Chance, circa 1979, back in Nam.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Gage could see the resemblance. Anyway, back to chess, guys. It's an inside joke. Anyway, so they went to sort of a Sicilian. I just kind of ignored the Sicilian. I don't know what I was doing. I just brought out my two knights. Apparently, this is all a book move. I didn't know that. So then I just decided I'd target that pawn for some reason and take it. And I end up forking four pawns at the same time, which I just now realized I didn't really. And then they of course took, but I didn't really care because it's a minor piece. And then I just pushed that pawn up. Then they decided they would take, and then I took with the king, which is what I always do when that happens. I'm really comfortable at this point. I was completely comfortable. No fear now. I don't know if you would have fear, but I didn't have any fear. So I then put that pawn up to block the queen because it's defended. If you notice, the knight on f3 is defending the pawn. So that works. And then they played g5, which it's defended by f6, so it's fine. Then after g5, then I did bishop to e3, and I didn't even realize I did bishop to e3. I wasn't really focused. I don't really focus on the square titles. I focus on more like what I need to do in order to make it more secure. So I just wanted an extra defender to that pawn so that the queen didn't take, and you'll see what happens later. So then the queen moves down, since I moved back to e1, and I just moved the knight over. Now this is where it gets really cool. So they move their king down into that little pocket as if they're fianchettoing their king like an idiot, and I just moved that extra pawn up. So then it's like defended even more now, and then later you'll see something funny happen. So basically, I pushed that pawn up. They moved their queen there. I don't know why they did that. I moved my rook up. Their response was an attack. It makes sense. So then I just blocked the pawn, and then they can't really push past the pawn on h4, so it works. Then I moved my bishop from my f1 bishop to attack the queen, because if you now look, that's defended by the knight, so the queen can't really take. So the queen does move. They jump. So my knight on d2 is defending the bishop on c4, and then it's actually attacking the f7, it should be attacking the f7 pawn, except it's not, because the pawn, there's a pawn on e6 which is blocking f7. So yeah, I don't know if you noticed the numerical order there, but yeah, e6 will, if it's a pawn, attack or defend. If there's a white pawn on f5, then e6 will be attacking. If there's a black pawn on f5 and a black pawn on e6, the e6 pawn will be defending f5. So yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, then I pushed a pawn up, kind of preparing to play. I pushed played a3, preparing for b4. And they just played, for some reason, b5, and I still play b4. And then they just are idiots, I guess. They took my bishop. I took their queen, which I don't understand why. 1100 is really not that high. That's why I'm saying I have remedial chess skills. I really do. So it's a lot different, more of a trap this time. Like, look at my queen side space and how it is. It's just kind of a weird game. I thought you guys might find it interesting. I want to become professional. I know I'm shitty, and you'll notice that right here, where this is my blunder. I didn't really care about that left rook, to be honest with you. I don't need it, so I just moved it up here to the outpost and let him take it. Fuck it. And then I just started harassing it with my. I put now. Oh wait, I need to explain something. So I put that pawn there for a specific reason. So that knight that's on d6 is defending the pawn that is currently on c4. So since that pawn on c4 is defended, if the bishop took, they would end up getting taken by the knight. But anyway, they don't do that. They move their knight over to h6. So then I moved another pawn up and to d5, and then they took, and after long consideration I took, and then They just, I don't know, did that with their bishop, defending a pawn. I guess I don't know. I just moved my king up to try to take it, and then then I just took it with my knight because they just moved it to a stupid place. It doesn't look like that. Looks like a fine move actually because you defended. Well, you're being attacked by a pawn. I could have honestly taken it with the pawn. I didn't. Well, no, I couldn't have because they're behind my pawns. Never mind. So it looks good until you realize that. But yeah. Anyway, it didn't work. They just took my knight, so it was kind of a trade. But I got a little more because 3.25. I got like 25 extra, so that's pretty good. But then wait till you get to the later scenes. They did compensate by taking my rook, but not very well. But then they moved the knight over here, which is good because then they're blocking the square. See, now I move my queen up, attacking the knight. So the rook moves over. I mean, it was already defended to begin with. I don't know why they had to do that. So then I attack the rook. Then the king comes over to defend the rook, because if I care, I sack the bishop just to get the rook. So now we're on pretty even terms, except I'm way better equipped than them for this endgame because I have a queen and a rook. They only have. The engine only has, and I have it set on only level 7. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a super GM or anything. I used to have it set higher, and I was tired of losing so much. So, anyway, I got a few wins though. I didn't I think I got one win in an in-game position on like the max level, but it was like already like pretty much level set to win. I mean, it was pretty much. If you say practice against computer, it doesn't really give you a setting option. It'll just put it to the max. So careful where you do that. Anyway, so I move my queen up over to there, where I check the king. King moves up. I move there, and then the knight takes the first pawn that's on d7, and then I took the rook that's on a8. The a8 rook's gone. Then that came with check. Then I moved the queen down here. Now they got me in a snafu here, but I managed to compensate for it. I did get in a really big snafu. Okay, so they tried to bait me with a knight there. I didn't fall for it, of course. I moved away, and then they checked my king. That was actually pretty genius of them. Now I should have not done this because then they checked me again. I should have moved like up in between, but instead I moved there, where they immediately checked me again. They took the queen, I took the knight, and then it became a war. So then I tried to attack, but then I just moved this. This actually turned out to be the best move. I don't know what that was. That was also the best move, and then that was a move, and then I just decided I would continue to harass the knight. They tried to attack me, so the knight's now attacking d6, and I'm on d6, so I move my rook up to d7. So rook d7, attacking the knight. Then the king defends. I decided what I was going to do is go after the pawn. King's close enough to take. I move down. That's an okay move. It's not the best. I don't agree with the engine. I think it was perfectly fine. I don't see what they're going to do at this point. I don't think you make judgments between rook moves at this point, unless I just ended it but been a draw by repetition at this point. If you have that little confidence, you're an idiot. Anyway, I just pushed my pawn up, and then, it's too late. So take knight. The knight was, so captures, and then check. King has to move. Check. And then move down, checkmate. That's how that works. So that was a pretty cool checkmate. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. It was a great fun time. And I wish me luck. I hope to someday become way better than this. I'm trying to improve every day. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe so I can get lessons and whatnot. But for now, I'm just working with the engine, trying to figure out new stuff. I've been on a losing streak, and I finally got out of it. Anyway, thanks, man. Peace.